is Joy News Prime.
My name is Israelai, welcoming you to another edition of Joy News Prime, Ghana's most comprehensive 2 hours of television news. Coming up, investigations into fire at Central Medical Stores reveal the facility was deliberately set ablaze to destroy incriminating evidence. Accra records its first meningitis case as the disease continues to advance into new territories. Electricity Company of Ghana takes steps to implement revised electricity tariffs agreed between government and organized labor this week. Convention People's Party to go ahead with weekend's Congress to elect 2016 presidential candidate despite injunction filed against the event by disappointed flag-bearer aspirant Onzi Nkrumah.
And in business tonight, prices of petroleum products to go down marginally this weekend.
The business news comes up in 30 minutes, but there will also be sport, entertainment, and the interactive segment we call JNI. Welcome once again and stay tuned for the bulletin, which is also across Europe on London-based ABN television as well as Freeview Connect. It has now been established that the Central Medical Stores in Tema was deliberately set alight in January last year to destroy incriminating evidence. Though the arsonist, a laborer, is currently on the run, 12 officials of the Health Ministry, including the former head of the facility, Peter Eko Jima, have been interdicted for their role in the fire. Attorney General Marietta Opong, who announced the findings of the inquiry, stated the security agencies have been directed to initiate further investigations for possible prosecution, the role of the 12 officials and any others who may have been involved.
Ghana lost its main drugs and medical supply depot in that fire on January 13. Every single medical supply purchased by the state, including drugs for malaria, HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, and some imported Ebola PPEs and treatment medication kept at the store for distribution to hospitals across the country, was destroyed over the 3 days it took the fire service to extinguish it. It is estimated that more than 200 million cedis worth of drugs were lost. A committee set up to investigate the cause of the fire concluded the fire was started deliberately to destroy evidence of theft, massive fraud and widespread procurement irregularities at the facility. Attorney General Marietta Opong told journalists the suspected arsonist, Samuel Dogbe, is currently wanted by the Bureau of National Investigations.
It was established that the fire was deliberately set and that property damaged was worth millions of Ghana cedis. According to the report of National Security, the fire was deliberately set to destroy evidence of theft and massive fraud and widespread irregularities in the procurement and distribution of medical supplies involving senior management and junior staff. It is believed that Samuel Dogbe was paid to set the fire in order to destroy the evidence. The motive for the destruction of the evidence was the fact that the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, had been tasked to investigate the circumstances surrounding the expiration of large quantities of drugs and medical items at the CMS. A stock count of all medical consumables had been slated for 13th January 2015 to be used for an exhaustive audit of supplies made to the CMS and allocations to health institutions in 2014. In other words, suspected irregularities and fraud in procurement and allocations to health institutions and their imminent discovery by the planned investigations and audit provided the motive for the sponsorship of the arson. Among the irregularities and fraudulent activities in the procurement and allocation to health institutions revealed by the National Security investigations were the following. A. Malaria control program managers diverted large quantities of anti-malarial drugs meant for public health institutions. B. The system software for recording stock levels of medical supplies and keeping track of allocations was manipulated, rendering it ineffectual and facilitating massive diversion of medical items. C. Large quantities of artemether, lumefantrine, an anti-malarial drug, were stolen or diverted and sold to entities in Nigeria and La Côte d'Ivoire. D. Anti-malarial drugs were routinely diverted to non-existent NGOs. E. Some drugs were falsely declared to be close to their date of expiration so that permission would be given for them to be taken out for destruction. These were then sold to private pharmacy shops after permission had been granted for them to be destroyed. F. Expired drugs, mostly anti-malarial medicines, from a private pharmacy shop were sometimes swapped for good drugs supplied to the CMS by the company. G. 50 boxes of assorted anti-malarial drugs were hoarded by 2 officers of the CMS who claimed that the CMS had completely run out of those drugs. Government has directed the Police Criminal Investigations Department, CID, working in collaboration with the Bureau of National Investigations to prepare appropriate dockets with respect to each named individuals, their collaborators and accomplices, as well as other suspects named and unnamed in the report, with a view to their prosecution at my instance. Government has further directed the interdiction of all the above-named individuals until the final determination of their cases, subject to the provisions of the Human Resource Management Policy Framework and Manual for the Ghana Public Services. Government has also accepted the following modified recommendations in the investigations report. A. A proper forensic audit should be carried out to unearth the extent to which consumable and non-consumable drugs were diverted. Government has directed the Minister of Health in consultation with the Auditor General to constitute a special audit task force to undertake the exercise. Forensic audit should be carried out into transactions between Volta Impex and the Ministry of Health. Information was gathered that an amount of 5 million Ghana cedis was paid to Volta Impex for the supply of 2 million prescription forms to the National Health Insurance Scheme in 2011, when the actual cost of the supply was 1 million Ghana cedis.
Health Minister Alex Segbefi assured the culprits will be vigorously pursued until there is closure.
It will not be business as usual. The report will be followed through. The audit team will be put in place. And from what we've gathered and from what we've heard, even with some of the Public Account Committee hearings, there is corruption in the system. Systems are not being followed. People are lax about issues that come out.
Government has also directed the Ministry of Health to undertake a thorough reorganization and restructuring of the central medical stores currently being housed in a temporary facility, as well as its systems and operations. Matilda Pomaga for Joy News.
Now, staying with health, one case of meningitis has been confirmed at the Ridge Hospital in Accra, meaning that the strain is now found in 8, or the case of meningitis is now found in 8 out of 10 regions of Ghana. To give us details of this case, I have on the phone lines now Dr. Emmanuel Srofenyo of the Ridge Hospital. Good evening to you, Doc. Can you tell us, give us some detail about this case at the Ridge Hospital?
Good evening, and also good evening to your esteemed listeners. I will say that on Monday, we...
Right, so unfortunately the phone lines gave us up there, but we'll try and raise Dr. Srofenyo one more time. Whilst we do that, some clients of the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital in the Central Region have expressed dissatisfaction with the treatment meted out to them by medical personnel there. The chief complaint is that the health officials do not attend to patients, especially those who need emergency care in good time. The lackadaisical approach of the hospital staff, according to them, is leading to the loss of needless lives. Though management of the hospital will not entirely dismiss the complaint, they say the patient's attitude has not helped. Georgina Pierre's report from Cape Coast.
The reported complaints are just a few of many that make round in the Cape Coast municipality on a daily basis. Even though authorities of the facility have consistently assured clients of improving their services, the situation remains the same. The latest case is when a worker at the University of Cape Coast, Joseph Arthur, was rushed to the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital for an emergency care. According to relatives, he lost his life after 7 hours of no special care. Joseph Arthur Jr. is a son of the deceased and narrates his ordeal to Joy News.
For about 8 something, 2-3 o'clock.
The emergency unit is messed up. You must know someone there to be attended to. Sometimes the health officials will ignore you. When we sent my father there, it took hours for them to attend to us. We even got someone who worked there to help us, but to no avail. When they started administering the medication finally, they gave him only 1 dose and he passed on.
No, beyond better. Near 4 years, we started medication about 3 o'clock. I could pet no idea.
He, however, called on the government to, as a matter of urgency, turn attention to the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital as the services at the facility are not satisfactory.
Teaching hospitals, I am the Aqua, or the watch, or the nurses, doctors, fine. But what do I'm saying?
Teaching hospitals are meant to give practical experiences to junior doctors, but the attitude is bad. The hospital does not also have the necessary facilities like lab. We also have to travel elsewhere to do the tests before bringing it back.
Another aggrieved client, John, told Joy News he lost his 2-month-old baby due to negligence of health personnel at the facility.
Now, look at about 2 months.
Whenever you go there, you must know someone before you'll be attended to. We sent my 2-month-old baby who had diarrhea to the hospital about 3 a.m. They attended to us at about 4 p.m. and gave us a bed. That was very late. We lost the baby. I have vowed never to go there again.
Beyond that, no, I'm young. Look at them, the minimal, just a critical
Another resident, Paul, says he's amazed at how things are run by the hospital.
Emergency one.
I sent a woman with stomach ache to the hospital. The nurses got angry just because the patient sat on a chair at the emergency. After the confrontation, the nurse got angry and put the medication she had mixed under her chair until she was satisfied before administering it to the patient.
Also, it do no one simply because like I
For now, many patients fear referral to the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital for fear of losing their lives due to feedback they have received from others. But hospital officials who spoke to Joy News indicated that even though the complaints would be partly accepted because they cannot vouch for individual behavior at the facility, some patients are also impatient as they do not understand the work of health professionals. Sophia Blankson is the director of nursing at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital.
We are working to save life. And you might not get the perfect situation, and I'm not saying what they are saying is not true. We sympathize with them because they have lost someone. But then we are also doing some good work that people are recommending us for that. We will go into the situation and find out what really happened. But I don't want to believe that the patient was neglected, that is why he died. No, it is not the issue. Definitely something would have been done for the patient, bearing in mind that we don't know for how long the person had been sick or where he was before he was transferred to or referred to our department. We really take care of the patients as they come. Then when there's a need to refer you to the doctors who must see you and admit you to the ward, then they refer you. So even as you have been referred to the appropriate department and they are not there, they continue to take care of you until that person comes. So sometimes it's not easy to lose someone. Yes, I understand. My condolence. But then that does not mean that because they referred him to a specialty or a department and the doctor didn't come, that is why the person died. No, that is not the case.
You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break. We'll be back with more. Please don't go away. The Electricity Company of Ghana has moved to ensure the reduction in electricity tariffs agreed between government and organized labor this week will be implemented from February 1. Government, after protestations from organized labor on Wednesday, agreed to a reduction to cushion the most vulnerable in society. Officials of the ECG tell Joy News the adjustment will benefit only consumers who use between 0 and 300 units of electricity, with those who use up to 50 units benefiting the most. They will pay a 45% increase over the pre-December tariffs instead of the 59.2% announced by the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission.
On electricity consumption, let's say customers from 0 to 300 units of consumption will now receive a reduction in rates. What PURC announced was 59.2% increase, but now we've categorized it into from 0 to 50 units, what we call the lifeline customers. They will see 45% increase. Then from 51 to 300 units, they will see 50% increase on energy consumption. But as we've discussed before, you realize that there are levies and other things. So we also have a reckoner which calculates unit consumption, levies and all that. And we've deployed this to all our district offices. So what it is that customers will be informed if you know of how much you purchased before. It will calculate how much today you will also be purchasing, so that it brings some clarity to all these tariffs.
So let's see if, to understand what you're saying, the levies that were slapped on the electricity tariffs, which is about 10%, will remain. But the 59.2 is what's reducing to 45 and 50, depending on your consumption.
Correct, that's it.
So who is in the 0 to 50 unit band?
Okay, so we have up to about 900,000 customers in 0 to 50 units, and then we also have about 1.1 million customers between 51 to 300 units. So in total, we're expecting about 2 million, a little over 2 million customers of ECG to benefit. Now we have a total of about 2.7 million. So we're talking about close to about 85% of our customers going to benefit from this relief.
Listen to the breakdown. It looks as if the reduction is by somewhat 9 to 14%.
That we're going to work out in fine details in the reckoner, because we are very careful to put out percentages out there. But what we want to say is that what the PURC announced, the 59.2 for a lifeline customer 0 to 50 units, it's going to be 45% increase. Then now for customers that fall between 51 to 300 units consumption, that will be reduced to 50%. And then we can now add the other levies and subsidies.
Now, as part of efforts to resolve the conflict in Dagbon, the Otumfuo Mediation Committee has renewed talks with the parties involved. Today, there was a scheduled meeting at Meshia, but only one faction turned up. Said Ali Yakub has been monitoring the situation and joins us with details. Good evening to you, Said. We're told that the meeting has been rescheduled, but what further information do we have?
Well, good evening, Israel. The information we have is that efforts are being made to get the Abudu faction to attend tomorrow's meeting. We are not sure what reasons they gave to the Committee of Eminent Chiefs for their absence today. In fact, my information is that the Yagbonwura, who is the overlord of Gonja traditional area, arrived in Kumasi yesterday. The Taiji, who is the Mantubu traditional overlord, also arrived. So we got to the palace at about 10 a.m. The Grandani group had arrived, expecting that the Abudu Royal Gate representatives will also arrive for the meeting. So proceedings were held behind closed doors. And after some consultation, at about 2:30, officials came out of the meeting to tell us that the meeting has been rescheduled for tomorrow because the Abudus failed to turn up. But they are not in any way prepared to let into for their failure to show up for today's meeting in Israel.
All right, thank you very much, Said Ali Yakub. The telephone lines have not been the best of pals tonight, but the news team caught up with the faction present at the meeting, and here is what the leader of the delegation had to say.
From your discussion?
No, Otumfuo has suspended the adjourned sitting until tomorrow.
Okay.
So we haven't discussed anything substantive.
Okay. So we are told one faction didn't turn up. The Abudus didn't come. Is that right?
They have not, and we expect them to come tomorrow.
You expect them to come tomorrow?
Yes.
So have you made any representation to them to come?
Well, the regional minister is doing that.
Okay.
And we have received assurance that they will be here. So.
Okay. So what reason did they give for not turning up today?
Well, I don't know. We have not been told. So
and
we don't know.
And how confident are you that tomorrow they will be here?
I'm confident because we are all part of the peace process. They will be here. Yes.
All right.
An Accra High Court has adjourned to February 4 a suit challenging the eligibility of Dr. Zanetti Rowlings as a National Democratic Congress parliamentary candidate for the Klote-Korle constituency. The incumbent MP, who lost the primary to the daughter of the party's founder, says she should not have been allowed to contest in the first place because she's not a registered voter. The court, presided over by Elizabeth Nimakun, adjourned the case to allow lawyers for the plaintiffs to serve the Electoral Commission and the NDC with a hearing notice.
Incumbent MP for Klote-Korle constituency, Niyama Ashite, filed a suit praying the High Court to prevent Dr. Zanetti Rowlings from holding herself out as parliamentary candidate-elect for the constituency. But the court has asked lawyers for Dr. Rowlings to serve the Electoral Commission and NDC with a hearing notice. Lawyer for Dr. Rowlings, Gary Nemako, wanted to subpoena the Electoral Commission to provide registration details of the parliamentary candidate-elect for the constituency. But since the EC is party to the case, there was an objection of that motion on the basis that it was premature. This prompted the court to ask lawyer Gary Nemako to serve the Electoral Commission and the NDC with a hearing notice. Meanwhile, a constituency executive of the NDC in the Klote-Korle constituency, Abdul Wahab Al-Hassan, wants incumbent MP Ishmael Ashite expelled from the party to stop him from creating any more confusions.
That you've gone into an elections, nobody has sidelined you, nobody has given anybody any advantage. You went into an election, you were beaten squarely, not by any number of about 1,000+ votes. You lost by that margin. You pushed people to go and send this matter to court. They came to court, it was dismissed. Now the real people have come. Because earlier on we said he is behind that. They were denying that fact. Now the whole thing has come to light. You are now disturbing the entire constituency and the party as a whole. So I think that this man, so far as I'm concerned, he's a waste. You've not done anything in the constituency for us to give you a second chance. And then the people have spoken. No matter the outcome of this particular case, I believe that these people will not represent the NDC in the constituency. There is no way. Let's assuming without admitting that this case go their way, like they said they've annulled this result. These people cannot represent us. There is no way they will represent us. That is clear. On the ground, they know, they are aware. So they are only doing the bidding of some people like Valerie Sawyer and co. They are doing, that's what they are doing. So as in the next 4 years, then they can come on board to say, we told you we couldn't win the seat. Nobody can win the seat. And
so what are you calling for? What are you calling for?
Me, I'm calling for his expulsion from the party. That's all I can say, because he did not go through the party's channel to vent out his grievances. There is the constituency. You have to go through that, and then if you are not satisfied, you go to the region. If you are not satisfied, you go to the national. If you are not satisfied, then you can come to court. Then everybody will say you have exhausted all the party internal mechanism. But you don't come to court when you have lost an election, not by small margin. Look at the margin.
Watching Joy News Prime, we're taking a break. When we come back, we'll bring you business news. It's time for business news, and one of the stories coming up this evening, Eto Namse is going to be telling us all about it. It has to do with the Barclays Bank.
Right.
At some point, we're told that they were going to move out of Africa, or they were going to cede some of their interest in Africa.
Right.
It turns out that, well, it's not exactly so.
Speculations we
Okay.
hear, but they are saying that
So
the
management has
customers,
been reacting for the very first time.
for the very first time,
Okay.
Israel. And also coming up, our very first story, we're expecting the prices of petroleum products to go down marginally beginning tomorrow.
All right.
Good luck to us.
Marginally?
Marginally, Israel.
We need a lot more than marginal.
I agree.
All right.
All right, now prices of petroleum products are expected to go down marginally from this weekend. Joy Business is learning that the reduction will be influenced by the volatile nature of prices of crude and other finished products on the world market. But will the oil marketing companies this time around replicate the reduction by bulk oil distributors? That's more in this report by George Riafe.
Anytime you drive to a service station to buy petrol or diesel, the price that each product is being sold has been influenced by world market prices, the cost of importing the product, the city's performance against the dollar, and other margins on the product, as well as taxes. So if the importers are dropping their prices, then obviously the marketers should also do the same. But this time round, it might be by a small margin. At the last review window, that is between January 1 to 15, even though prices should have gone down by some 1%, some of the oil marketing firms decided not to review their prices downwards. So for some industry watchers, it is still not clear whether the about 90 oil marketing companies will indeed drop their prices from this weekend. Chief Executive of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Senyo Hosi, tells Joy Business all the variables point to a reduction at the pumps.
The depreciation that's naturally expected in the month of January has not been as deep as before. So I think it's a bit more reasonable. Prices on the world market seem to have dropped fairly, and there's also been some mild depreciation in the city. Possibly you should have a net positive situation, but it also depends on how things would round off by the end of the week.
Again, with the decision to allow all the oil marketing companies to set their own prices, it might be difficult to see a uniform price reduction at the various service stations from this weekend.
A former chief executive of Cocoa Board, Isaac Osei, who owns majority stake in Cocoa Processing Company, is impressing on the board of Cocoa Processing Company the need to review the company's business model. This, according to him, is critical to turn around the fortunes of the company, which has shut down 2 of its 3 factories. Whilst officials say the closure is to allow for maintenance works, workers are attributed it to the lack of cocoa beans for processing. Isaac Osei, who is also a shareholder in the company, explains to Joy Business it's about time the major investors led a financial and operational remodeling to save the company.
Well, CPC has never produced, in my view, at its capacity. I think it's now about 65,000 tons or thereabouts. And when CMC supplies it beans in bits and pieces, it's not going to work. I mean, the board and Ghana Cocoa Board, which is the main shareholder, will have to look at it, and see whether CPC can be supported, for 1 year at least. Let's see what happens if they have all the beans that they require. But I can understand Ghana Cocoa Board because there are other companies who are also processing cocoa in this country. So they have to have a delicate balance. But the main problem, in my view, at the moment, from what I have heard, is the financial capacity. So if you are weak on that end and you are supported with your raw material inputs and you can produce at somewhere near the capacity that you're supposed to produce, then there may be an opportunity to generate the revenues which will enable you to keep the company afloat and make some profits and regain the confidence of shareholders.
Barclays Bank Ghana is assuring its customers that their deposits are safe. It follows reports that plans by its parent company to move out of Africa is negatively affecting Barclays Bank Ghana. But Barclays says there's no reason for depositors to worry.
According to sources close to the bank, it is unlikely Barclays will move out of Ghana because it has a strong and profitable franchise in the country. The source maintains that the bank's primary focus remains on serving its numerous customers in Ghana to create a bank of choice for all its stakeholders. So, looking at the information we are picking up, it is not likely Barclays Bank PLC will exit totally from Africa. And even if they should decide to sell majority of its interest in Barclays Africa, it may not affect their operations in Ghana. According to reports picked from the London Financial Times and Wall Street Journal, Barclays Bank PLC is planning to sell its stake in Africa because of some concerns with the economic environment and how it is impacting negatively on its profits.
Still on bank, Societe Generale Ghana says it is set to introduce a mobile app to reach more of the unbanked population. The bank says this is its way of fighting competition from the telcos in mobile money services. Deputy Managing Director of Societe Generale Ghana, Francois Macau, spoke to Joy Business at the official launch of the bank's new product dubbed KIT from 1st February.
We are going to bring a mobile app to our clients where they will be able to do some cash to ATMs or account to ATMs transfer through the mobile, which is another complementary service that we can bring. So it's innovation, but I mean it's not competition. Societe Generale has launched one in Morocco last year, and we are going to bring it in all sub-Saharan Africa this year. It's going to be on the smartphone, an app that brings your bank on your mobile.
Speak to any startup and the first complaint you would hear is the difficulty in accessing capital to fund their operations. It's been a never-ending problem and one of the major hindrances to the growth of SMEs, which constitute about 90% of registered businesses in the country. Government is set to hold an SME financing fair in March this year as part of efforts to address the problem. But what should small business owners be doing to attract investments? Chief Investment Officer Data Bank Ni Ampasua spoke to Joy Business after a TEDx summit on SME financing dubbed Finance or Crash.
I think it has to do with putting their best foot forward. A lot of people feel that they have a sense of entitlement and that once they have an idea, they don't need to provide any documentation or have any research done to justify it. All they need to do is just pitch the idea or throw it at you and expect you to jump at it. But people see things from different lenses, and particularly the financiers, they're always looking for something in it for them. What is going to make that value or growth? How long is the business going to survive? Is there a risk that they could lose their money? They'll be looking at all of these things critically, and SMEs as such should package themselves properly and put their best foot forward when they're seeking for financing.
While crude is recovering, what else is recovering? Well, John is here with the stock and commodity market details. Hello, John.
Hi, Eto.
Tell me some good news.
Well, I mean, you don't always need to expect good news, but of course, there's some good news, like it is indicated earlier. Crude is recovering, but of course, the Ghana Stock Exchange is also doing something wonderful, giving access to people to also come in there, make money at a time that is actually dropping. Today, we did not see that much of activity on the market.
So bearish?
Quite bearish, you can call it so, because the volume of activity there actually quite low, only about 48 traded today at a total cost of about 56. So that quite not significant, but Friday you should expect those who would actually make any impact started on Monday and then Tuesday. That made the market really grow that big. But Friday, not that big enough. But I think the indices are still the same. It's not really moved that much. Almost the financial...
Comparing yesterday and today.
Exactly. The composite index moved about 46 basis points. That of financial, most about 60 basis points. That's quite significant. But 4 equities really moved the market today. 4 moved the market today. 2 losers and then 2 gainers as well. With the gainers, we're talking about benzo oil palm. Your darling baby, as you always call it. Also gaining 3 pesos.
That's a lot.
To its investors, exactly so. So for those who lost interest and those who lost hope in benzo oil palm, they are just saying they are back. I hope they stay for a bit longer.
Yeah.
And then SIC also returned 1 peso to its But Car keeps losing. Yesterday they lost 1, today they've lost 2. I don't know how much they're going to actually share next week, but I hope Car bounces back. HFC also lost 5 pesos to their shareholders. I know they're going to also bounce back. So that's actually for the Ghana stock. Not much activity, some losers and some gainers. So,
the commodity market.
But the commodity market, as you did indicate earlier, crude gained 55 cents to close at $34 per barrel, basically. So the recovery is still on course. Some are saying that it's early days yet, but we still believe that the impact of Iran is still not being felt on the market. Gold is also gaining.
Cocoa has been
losing since December. And I don't know when the recovery is also going to come, because, the Hamatan is still around. You understand my point?
So
as some projections go, I think it's also affecting projections.
Ghana. Tell me something about the CD, my friend.
The CD today, unfortunately,
lost against even the Chinese yuan.
Everything is actually strong against the CD. The CD did lose. So today, if you really want to get $1 at the interbank level, you need about 3 CDs, 83 pesos to get that. And you also need 58 pesos to get 1 Chinese yuan for those who would want to import from China and its environment. So basically, that's the market. The forex zone is not anything better. The commodities market, in terms of the crude and that of gold, is really trying to do something better. The Ghana Stock Exchange, quite mid-range up there. So I think the market has been quite bearish, as you would say.
Thank you, John, for that. And that's how we wrap up with business. My name is Eton. I'm saying many thanks for your time.
Watching Joy News Prime, let's get to do some politics now. And the Convention People's Party says it will go ahead with this Congress on Saturday despite a suit filed against it. The CPP insists that no injunction has been placed on the Congress and that the suit filed by Dr. Onzi Nkrumah does not prevent them from going ahead with their Congress.
To go to law, it's a last resort for me. It's not ideal. I'm not happy to go there. I'm unhappy with the way the party is being run. I'm unhappy the way certain elements of the party being extremely divisive, extremely disregardful, extremely driven almost to bring our party into the maximum possible decline, which is unbelievable. I mean, when I came with the declared intentions of reviving the fortunes of the party, rebuilding, working together, coming together, I did not receive any positive response. Rather, I've been repelled, repulsed, revolted, or whatever you want to call. I've been basically, I believe I came to my own place and my own people have rejected me. The filing day, which 3 candidates decided to use due to the shortness of time, have to go to the 10 regions or bring some of them to meet you to endorse the forms. So that takes time and effort. So having been given only 2 weeks from the picking of the form to the filing, this is maximum of 2 weeks. In my event, it wasn't 2 weeks, it wasn't even a week, but I did my best. On the 11th day of January, there were a number of unfortunate incidents took place at the party headquarters.
What happened?
My posters were being destroyed, the banners, any material that we brought or my supporters brought to the party office were either vandalized or torn or stamped upon. I mean, it's obvious.
Who did this?
Well, several people, and in the presence of Akomfra, the General Secretary. Kadri was there on that day. He can testify, I'm sure, that he saw my posters being destroyed. Several members of the Central Committee. The chairman was there. And until this moment, until this minute, and Kadri, please correct me if I'm wrong, I have not heard a word of regret. Even apology is too big.
Now, come tomorrow, Saturday, between 22,700 and 3,000 delegates of the Convention People's Party will converge at the Ghana International Trade Fair Center to elect its presidential candidate for the November general elections. The Electoral College will be deciding whether to sell the Nkrumah's party to the highest bidder or vote for Samia Nkrumah to maintain the integrity of the once famous party. Journey's checks at the venue reveal advanced preparations, with the posters of the 4 candidates splashed all over the routes leading to the trade fair site.
We are loaded for the bear. The Convention People's Party has done everything that must be done in order to have a successful Congress. And I can say on authority that, Francis, this particular Congress is going to be one of the finest Congresses ever organized in the history of the Convention People's Party, given the fact that the chairman and leader has shifted so much of his attention to ensuring that this becomes one of the best Congresses. Only 2 days ago, we went to the trade fair where the Congress is expected to come off with the regional commander of police and his men, just to go and take, and examine the security situation there, and if there is a need for beef up and what have you. We did that. And also when it comes to logistical, arrangement, everything has been done. And as I speak, some of the delegates are in Accra.
How many delegates are voting tomorrow?
2,500 delegates. And then
why that number?
Oh yeah, that is the size of our electoral college. Maybe in future we can also decide to broaden it, but for now we are operating 2,500, which is okay, given the nature of party that we have.
Okay, so 2,500 delegates. How many members do you have as a party?
How many members? Oh, our members are, I can't actually put a figure at the moment. I don't have it off head. But what I can tell you is that we have, serious membership. And if you go to our website, this information can easily be accessed. I can't give in terms of figures.
Okay, so
this is the exact
okay, fine.
number.
So run us through what will happen tomorrow at the Congress.
So what is going to happen tomorrow is that, as I said, by tomorrow morning, virtually all the delegates would have arrived in Accra. And those who are coming from Upper East, Upper West, and Northern region will be given the opportunity to go and refresh themselves, take their breakfast, and then move to the voting. But before the voting commences, there's going to be a NEC meeting. And at NEC, we shall discuss, arising and emerging issues that needs to be dealt with. We shall do everything at NEC. And then...
Will Dr. Anzi's matter be part of your agenda tomorrow morning?
No, he has not actually brought it to be tabled before NEC. Regretfully, he's not done that. So I don't think that it is something that is going to... If at all, his matter is going to be discussed, it will be discussed in a different way and not the way that the media or the general public would expect.
Okay.
If he wants his matter to be heard, we are operating a democratic party.
Move on with the preparations. That was just a small question.
Oh yeah, so I think that, as I said, we are now fit to go, and then tomorrow by this time, I am very hopeful and positive that the person who is going to lead the Convention People's Party into the 2016 election would have been known to Ghanaians.
The Accra Region Police has meanwhile put in place what they term new innovative measures to ensure an incident-free election in November. Regional Commander COP George Ekufu-Dampare tells Journeys the strategies incorporate lessons learned from previous elections. He announced this at a brief ceremony to dispatch officers to cover the Convention People's Party's Congress scheduled for Saturday. Hanodame was there for Journeys.
The Acting Inspector General of Police last year directed the formation of Election Security Task Force to oversee security in all election-related events. Following the directive, regional election security task forces have been formed in almost all regions. Deploying men to cover the CPP Congress on Saturday at the Trade Fair Center here in Accra, Regional Police Commander COP George Ekufu-Dampare outlined some new measures in policing elections.
Let's start implementing some of the new innovations that we want to bring on board to complement our existing strategies for policing elections. And here I'm talking about things like our continuous engagement programs that we want to have with all our stakeholders such that they will feel comfortable to relate with us at all times, and for us to establish more or less a real-time system of communication, for us to be prompted of things happening in our environment, and for us to deal with them before they get out of hand. Second, we are talking about the introduction of an effective early warning policing system, whereby police as an institution becomes so prompt in our reaction to situation because of the mechanisms we put in place in order to get information to act for us to act on.
He issued strict instructions to the men assigned to the task.
As you are aware, the game has started. We are using these exercises to test our preparedness for many activities that are lined up for us during this very busy and crucial year, which is the election year for our dear country, Ghana. And this is the first major political event for the regional command since the beginning of the year, which is full of election activities. As we have decided to serve in these capacities, we should go out there and show class. We should be out there embarking upon doing things differently during this year's election, such that everybody will know that we've come of age as an institution when it comes to policing elections.
Meanwhile, a building firm, Starship Ventures, has donated 46 cartons of towels for the construction of a police operational and conference hall at the Accra Police Command. For Joy News, my name is Hannah Odami.
Up next, we bring you international news. All right, time to get pre-interactive. And if Accra is here to tell us what's coming up.
I like that, pre-interactive.
Pre-interactive. What's coming up on JNI?
Well, coming up in the next hour, your thoughts on the Central Medical Stores fire report.
A sad thing to know that someone would deliberately just burn something that should have a whole nation. You know, it's not the best. It's not the best. It's a wicked thing to do.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Fire Service has said they don't have funds to fuel their fire tenders. And Israel, remember when we caught you dancing off guard and...
You're not going to bring it back, are you?
No, but an actress has found herself in a similar boat.
When did they marry?
When is the?
When is? Okay, okay.
Action.
When is the plan for the marriage ceremony?
What is the, okay, and what are the plans?
What are the plans? Okay.
Okay, action.
You don't want to miss our trending video of the day. Please join me in the next hour on Joy News Interactive. Israel.
Actress is Abre. Right, so we'll have all that coming up in the second hour of the bulletin. Please don't go away. We'll be having fun. My name is Israel and you're welcome once again to Joy News Prime. Time now for a recap of our top stories. And investigations into a fire at the Central Medical Stores last year has revealed the facility was deliberately set ablaze to destroy incriminating evidence. Accra has recorded its first meningitis case as the disease continues to advance into new territories. The Electricity Company of Ghana has taken steps to implement the revised electricity tariffs agreed between government and organized labor on Wednesday. The Convention People's Party will go ahead with this weekend's Congress to elect the 2016 presidential candidate despite the injunction filed against the event by disappointed flag bearer aspirant Onzi Nkrumah. And in business, prices of petroleum products are expected to go down marginally this weekend. Now, the minority in Parliament has described as an affront to the institution of Parliament an open threat by the Ashanti Regional Police Commander to arrest the MP for Asante Achim Agogo, Kwejo Ban Ajaman, for incitement. DCOP Kofi Boachi issued the arrest order following comments by the MP at a news conference calling on residents of the area to defend themselves against activities of Fulani herdsmen.
The police say recent attacks on the Fulani community in Agogo could be attributed to comments made by the MP. Attempts to get the speaker to rule on the matter was unsuccessful, as he was yet to be informed by the police. But ranking member on the Legal and Constitutional Committee of Parliament, Joe Osei, who is also the MP for Bekwai, considers the action of the police as a disrespect to Parliament and wants the Privileges Committee to investigate the issue.
If he wants to cover up for their failures as a police institution, a security agency, to protect the lives and property there, they should not come and use an MP as a scapegoat for their failure.
How soon will you come properly before Parliament?
As soon as the Speaker gives the order. The Speaker says I should raise it next week. I will.
And you will push for him to be hauled before the Privileges Committee?
Why not? Let everybody respect. I will not go and disrespect a policeman, even a lower rank officer. So I don't expect policemen to come and disrespect me.
But his colleague MP for Kaikwe Central, Patrick Boama, wants an amicable resolution of the matter.
When a member of parliament commits an offense, you need to petition the Speaker of Parliament, and that the said member of parliament will be taken through the motions as required by law, and he will go to the police to respond to any question or query that they have. I believe the law hasn't changed, the constitution hasn't been amended, and I think the police commander in Ashanti, a senior member at the bar, should have gone through what the constitution had stipulated by petitioning the Speaker for the said member of parliament to be invited for him to answer questions.
Meanwhile, the MP at the center of the controversy, Kwadwo Bajiman, says he's not perturbed by the police action, insisting he will fight for his constituents.
I feel very disappointed that a police officer of his caliber could call me and tell me certain. He knows the right of a member of parliament. So if you stand up, and he as a lawyer to issue threat to a member of parliament is against the Article 122 of the Constitution. The immunity I enjoy, he also enjoyed the same immunity. So how can you go against the immunity and call me and tell me you are going to cause my arrest? For what? For speaking the mind of my people? For displaying the sentiment of my people?
Well, the Brunhafo caucus in Parliament is not happy with arrangements made by the Bank of Ghana to release money belonging to depositors of DKM and other defunct microfinance companies operating in the region. Whilst the central bank is still holding on to some monies lodged by the microfinance companies, some courts have ordered the confiscation of property belonging to the companies to settle their customers. Deputy Minority Whip Ignatius Befuewia says the Bank of Ghana cannot escape blame in all of this. He tells Joy News the caucus will be making fresh demands on the central bank at a news conference on Monday.
That 5% of your share capital to one individual. So if Bank of Ghana every month was supervising these microfinance institutions through their off-site reports and then their on-site reports, are they saying that they were not aware that they were not giving the loans to individuals, but they were giving it to themselves? In fact, Bank of Ghana should be held responsible for what has happened. Besides that, in talking about liquidation, Bank of Ghana came out to say that, yes, the only official microfinance institution that they know is Jester Motors and DKM, because they are the microfinance institutions that they have awarded them with certificates to operate. But on record, it is known that the number of microfinance institutions that have collapsed in the region are number 12. So even if Bank of Ghana is going to liquidate Jester Motors and DKM, what is going to happen to the other microfinance institutions?
The National Service Scheme is set to introduce some indigenous modules to address the specific needs of industry. This, according to the Executive Director of the service, will help bridge the gap and enhance the scheme. Michael Pesa-White said this when he addressed some media men during a visit of the scheme to some institutions as part of their yearly assessment of the program, as well as interact with personnel.
As for those we are planning to visit, the list is countless because, as you know,
National Service is probably the largest human resource organization in the country. We spread people, average 70,000 people across the country every year. So even in a year, we can't visit all of them. We will try as much as possible to visit a lot. So far, we've been to Gridco, we've been to Gapoha, we've been to GMPC. Today, we are here at Nestle Ghana Limited. We are looking at going to, some of our educational institutions, especially also in the rural areas. And then we'll be moving out of Accra to go to see health service personnel, especially those who have moved out of region, see how they are faring and they are doing, and again learn from their insight to improve the scheme. As you know, last year we introduced two new models. One was the urban sanitation, and then the other one is the urban traffic management. The young patriotic men and women you see on the streets in Accra, I believe here in Tema and then in Kumasi as well. We are reviewing and studying that and see how best we can extend that to other regions. We are also looking at what the Ghanaian society, on the basis of its current transformation, will need, so that we will develop new models and then put service personnel at the point of the need of the society as a whole.
Nestle Ghana had hosted over 500 service persons. Head of Human Resource Antoinette Akon revealed they have retained almost all service persons posted to the organization over the years, and they're looking forward to more collaborations with the National Service Scheme.
Because at the first instance, it offers us the opportunity to give first work experience to most of our graduates out of school, because for some of them, they don't even have internship whilst in school. So this is really their first corporate experience. And we make sure that we give them the values and the work ethics that would help them even beyond Nestle if we are not able to retain them. Most of the times, we train them in such a manner that we are able to keep if we have vacancies. And even if we are not, we see ourselves as providing talents for the nation. So we really make sure that the grooming is done. So you can be rest assured that buying plantain and granules is not part of the schedule. You don't have that kind of flexibility in Nestle. You really do work. I must also say that where we have vacancies or where we have expansion programs, national service people have been trained well and retained. If you take our Nestle Business and Services, which is our shared service center, which is serving the whole of Africa and beyond, when we started and launched in 2012, we had about 95% retention rates for national service people. Once they come on national service, we train them, you are good, we retain them. So for the first 3 years, we really retained most of all, unless in the very unlikely situation, the person really cannot conform in terms of attitude and performance, because we train you both on technical competence and behavioral competencies as well.
Residents around the Paloma Hotel here in Accra are asking the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to provide refuse bins in a public place of convenience to stop residents from dumping their garbage into a storm drain in the area. The drain is currently filled with solid waste and human excreta, a situation the residents have described as worrying. They recommend the use of watchdog committees in the area to arrest perpetrators to help deter others from dumping trash into the drain. Derek Eko Sam has more.
This is one of the biggest storm drains in Accra, and I'm around the Paloma Hotel. This is just the biggest drain behind it. It actually flows from here through to the Kwale Lagoon and then into the sea. It's supposed to be filled with liquid waste, but what I see is that it's being overwhelmed by solid waste. There are people who live around here. Let's talk to them and see why we have solid waste in there instead of liquid waste.
You know, some people don't normally go to the toilet. They do shit in, excuse me to say, they do shit in their bathrooms, then throw it inside. As for here, they don't have refuge dump. So normally when they sweep, they dump their refuse in the gutter.
But I can also see that from that side, you have some materials over there. Yeah, and once the wind blows, it will take it into the gutter.
And that's where we do burn. We burn it when we close. That's where we do burn.
But between now and when you close, the waste there could fly into the gutter.
Yeah.
Why don't you also find a waste bin to put your waste in there?
Yeah, we do have a waste bin. But if we don't burn it, we don't know where to dump it. That's where we do burn it there.
Now, at first, if you catch people sent to our assembly man, nowadays, we don't know if we send to assembly man, we don't know the agreement they will do to assembly man. We will see them leaving them back again. We want assembly man to help us to bring the border, the container.
Many people put dustbin inside. If you talk and they said you are not sleeping yet, if you bend it to, they will talk. That's why many people put dustbin inside.
How about those who have been defecating into the gutter? Why do they do that?
Many people, if they are going to private, they will say that they will not get money to go to private. That's why many people can't defecate here.
So what do you think should be done to stop all of that?
Okay, if the gutter nowadays, if the cover on it, it will help. Last year it was rain. It was affected us.
After the fraud, the president came down to see what happened in the area. So after that, we called the community and then we asked them what step to take. And it's okay if we can call on the AMA to see what they can do about it. So they instruct me to write a letter, and I've forwarded the letter to AMA in Kasajai. When I send the letter, the director over there to attach a letter, give me a copy of the letter, and attach to my letter to send to the drain department at Kaneshi AMA. And I went there. Then they asked me to see the director of the drain. And they also give me the one of the experts to come down with me. So they came down with me to view the distance.
Up next, we bring you entertainment.
Entertainment news is...
All right, Miss G is here with
Uh-huh.
entertainment.
And then you're ready with your rap. You have your lines ready?
Which rap?
Yesterday you said we were going to rap today. You agreed that we'll rap today.
Yesterday I said we were going to rap today.
Exactly. Oh, so that's like you're rapping already. So continue your lines.
I think we discussed that sometime on Wednesday.
That you were going to rap
when? We should have
when?
done that yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you forgot.
And so you had an extra day to get ready.
No,
so
you
you can't disappoint the people.
No, I came ready with my lines and everything else.
So go ahead with your lines, you know. It's a rap battle between
you were
and
too
I,
occupied.
you know.
You were too occupied with doing the show, and so.
And so are those your lines for the rap for today? On Joy News Prime with you, rapping to your audience and the viewers.
See, you can do a good job speaking like, speaking the Nigerian English. But
now
not,
you enjoy
not the rap.
You enjoy that one.
As for the rap,
you want to tell me comedian for you? Don't worry.
What's coming?
Don't worry. But you know what? You know, back in the day, with highlight song, they used to actually shout to people. Remember? You remember the night Chapo had some song?
Yeah,
like,
give shout outs.
Yeah, exactly. Shout to people.
They still does that.
The Kokomremre one. You remember that one? So we are finding out, why do these people actually shout to people in their song as compared to today, when all we hear is the names of engineers who worked on the song? What's happening? Well, my colleague Beverly Room decided to put this together.
Having Shatawale, Bisake, the Bismarck, the joke, Majid Michelle, Mathan Kuma, or Jessica, Dominic, Linda,
Music has over the years.
Well, it's reasonable.
Yeah, very, very.
It's reasonable.
I love Nana Champo's lines. You know, he had a tall list of people he actually acknowledged in that Ankabede Naweoya song, you know.
And I can imagine back in the day, they will be giving them, these musicians will be getting cars and houses from some of these.
Yes, of course. Then they'll come and shout to them, and then we will be singing, mentioning the names of these people all the time when we get to sing their song. Okay, so still talking about music. It's one person who has evolved, you know, now and is growing in music is David Oscar. We knew him as a comedian, then he became an actor. Now he says he wants to be known as a musician. He agrees, though, that it will take a long time for you and I to start referring to him as a musician. He believes that comedy couldn't get him the larger audience.
But then on social media, at least on Facebook, I see that he still uses comedian David Eichler.
No, but he wants to be referred to as a musician.
Then he should get rid of the comedian.
Okay, David, that's one to you. Here's what he has to say about his new move to making music.
What will make somebody switch? I mean, I think it's based on, personal reflection, experiences, etc., and then the willingness to apply yourself to something broader in terms of something that has a capacity to reach a more bigger audience. I think that the reach that music carry.
Sure. And this one day features a free of Water Fame. You know, he did it together with.
So would you play his songs without taking payo from him?
Of course, we play. David knows I play his songs all the time. When he brought me Mona Lisa, I played it, and he's giving me this one too. I'll be playing tomorrow. No payola. They don't even give us anything. No payola, you know. Okay, so the movie that features Shatta Wale, Bisakade, and some other stars, Martha and Kuma, of course, but we are more particular about Shatta Wale and Bisakade because we know them as musicians, and it's the first time you're going to see them in a movie and not a musical clip. So if he is going to premiere tomorrow, and the PM, that's a production manager on set, and one of the actresses who play the role in the movie were with us today, and they had more to say about Shatta Wale and Bisa.
Having Shatta Wale, Bisakade, Bismarck the Joke, Majid Michelle, Martha Nkoma, or Jessica, Dominic, Linda, having all these guys on set, it is our work, it is our job. So we go by the contract. If you're given 7 a.m., you'll be there. 8 a.m., you'll be there. You know, mostly people think that because these people are musicians or they are stars, they are superstars, when you call them for a job, it will be very difficult. No. Ask Jessica, she'll tell you, Shatta was on point. He was there. We gave him 8 a.m. We go there 7:45. And told me, Louis, I'm here, wait there. You understand?
I was going to come to that. I wanted, you were on set with Shatta Wale and all of these people. You're an actress yourself. What do you make of the whole movie, which will be premiered tomorrow, and how challenging, how fun it was? Or just give us something about how you guys were on set.
Okay. The movie, as we all know, is about domestic violence, and is a pretty much interesting role that I had to play. I was actually the victim. I was playing Matankoma's mother, so it was more like a flashback. It was great. The experience was fun. I didn't do a lot with Shatta Wale, so I can't really say that. Yeah, but I think he did really good from what I'm seeing and hearing.
So that's the movie Shattered Live.
Are you going to be seeing it yourself?
Yes, I'm going to be there at the West Hills Mall tomorrow to see it. I promise that I will be there, so I need to honor my promise. Okay, so have you heard the song, We Are Taking the Girls Away?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I heard that song.
You're like, okay.
What sort of song is
What sort of song is this?
But it keeps getting some airplay.
I tell you, the song has been trending a while now on social media. Everybody has been talking about it. People are doing dance moves or making dance moves to the song. And we are wondering, what's about the song?
Yeah.
You know, the song was put together by the legendary guitarist Akable and also a young man called Kaboom. And they've been telling us how they came together to this song.
St. James, are you ready now? We are taking the girls out. Ladies St. James, are you ready now? We are taking the girls out.
You know, I went to the studio to play for somebody, and then the producer, Piwize, told me, oh, Aka, please, I would like to do one of your songs. I said, okay, then let me do something. And I did something. And I told him, if you should do something, then this one, there must be a rapper on it. He said, oh yeah, this guy is very good. So okay, I'll put him on. But I wasn't there when he was doing the rap. So after 2 weeks, he sent me the song. I said, wow, who did he say Kabon? I said, who is he? So that Elijah came from son. I said, wow. The guy.
You heard the song, what he had done. What came up?
It's like, yeah, we're having fun. You know, yeah, something like, yeah, we're having fun. Like we're wilding out, something like that.
Of all the stuff you had done, did you ever think this one was going to go viral like this?
I never thought of it. I never thought of it.
And so it came as a surprise to you?
Yeah.
Ladies and gents, are you ready now? We are taking the girls away.
I keep wondering where they are taking these girls to, you know?
Well, it sounds more like there was this rhyme when we were back in school.
Okay.
Georgie Porgy put in Empire, kiss the girls and make them cry when the boys came out to play Georgie Porgy. ran away.
I never heard that one.
Well, yeah, you belong to the much later generation.
Ah, okay. But so you didn't do anyone.
But this one sounds quite similar. They're taking the girls away, as in they're taking the girls from you, the guys.
Okay, so that's about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it now, because I was always wondering, where are they taking these girls to?
It's like Sako DS track. Swag girl. Yeah.
I see.
That's the way I understand it.
I see. Anyway, so we the ladies don't get to take the boys away.
You can do your own song.
Okay, so I'll do my remix. In fact, I'll feature you, so you have to get ready to rap.
No, the girls should do it.
No.
The guys, you see, so the guys song.
No, you have your
the guys sang the song, and
the version will be, I'll follow you everywhere you want to take me, and then blah blah blah. You know, you're just following. You know,
cool,
agreeing to
anything for you. Anything for you.
Today you're agreeing. Tomorrow when I come, you say you didn't say. Anyway, so before I go, is Wizkid who has been asked by his fans to go run a paternity test because they do not believe that he actually is the father.
Really?
Can you imagine?
I mean, the guy himself
has agreed, named the child after him, you know, and people are saying, his fans are saying, let him go run a paternity test. Because apparently the lady in question had something to do with Davido and KC as well.
Well.
So that's it. I'm going to have a great weekend.
Yeah, I wish you this. And by the way, I'm taking a break for about 3 weeks.
I don't want to hear that. So the entertainment news was brought to you by Airtel, the smartphone network. Israel, go enjoy your break. I'll be here waiting.
Thank you. And we're taking a break on the bulletin. We'll be back with sports.
Entertainment news.
All right, so Gary Al Smith is here with a big S on his chest. That's first.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I got it.
What's coming up?
We are taking the girls away.
Oh! You too?
Yes, we too.
Oh, no,
you know, that it's a very, in certain countries, to be a very sexist song and to give problems. You know, and just to take a minute of your time, there was an article on The Guardian today, and they had analyzed all the Disney movies that had princesses in them from the 1930s till today. You know what they were looking for? They were looking for incidences of the fact that women were not given a voice. And apparently, in the very first movies of Snow White and Cinderella in the 1930s, the women had dominant roles. But in the latter ones done in the 1990s and so on, it is the men who are speaking. So they say when women and sexism has become a worldwide problem, the film should be doing more to give women a voice. Very interesting indeed.
I'll go check it out.
Yeah, you should check it out on The Guardian.
Right, you take it away.
Yes. One of the big stories today in sport is that Florent Malouda is gone to Egypt. Yes, he is in Africa and he has been signed by an Egyptian club, but we'll do that later. Hello and welcome to the Sport on Prime. I'm Gary Al Smith. Today, we start at home. And Heart of Focus, you know, have been in crisis for a while. Things are not going well. The league finish last time was bad. And their ex-keeper, Amankwa Mreku, is one of those who is asking supporters to come on board to change the club's fortunes.
We all know the low performance of Heart of Oak recently, and I think we as former players, the 2000 squad and the CAF Confederation squad, you know, we had a lot of calls from our supporters asking us, but what is going on? What is happening? You know, because we can't sleep, I mean, we can't eat because of Heart of Oak, and so what are you guys doing? And so, you know, 9th January that passed was marked the 11th anniversary of the CAF Confederation Cup when we won it, and so we finally deemed like, okay, if that be the case, you know, as former players, we will use that platform to just revive the supporting base of the club. So that is why we just organized that, okay, the 2000 squad and the 2005 squad, we come together and form one team and then play the current House of Folk to revive the supporting base of the club. It's very, very important. And so that is the reason why we've had this event coming on Sunday. Yeah, we play the current Heart of Folk team. Because we are not happy and because, I mean, we love the supporters so much. We know whatever we are doing for the supporters. I think that is why we are coming up with this event, and that will revive the the supporting base of the club, just to come on board, because we knew the kind of love, the support, the motivation they gave us when we were playing. That enabled us to win. I mean, the Champions League, the Super Cup, the CAF Confederation Cup, and so we finally deemed that, okay, if that be the case, I mean, we should just we know the kind of love the supporters had for us, so we are calling on them, because without them a player cannot perform. You understand me?
That was the former skipper of Heart of Oak, Amankwa Miracle. Somebody who was also part of those dominant years is Aja Tete, and he believes that imparting the knowledge, the old players have for the new generation will help revive Phobian spirits as they go through this very, very rough patch.
Okay, it's all about the supporting base of the club, because nowadays the supporting base of the club is down. And I might say why? Because the club is not winning, it's not performing well. So this thing, we came together so that we had the supporters to come back, support the club. They should forget everything. The support they give to us, they should give the same support to this current club. I hope the team will go far. Even they can do better than us. That's why we are going to play this match. It's the form of impartation. We are going to impart something into them, telling them that, hey, no, when you are playing Hearts of Oak, you need to use the slogan, the die until the bones are rotting slogan. So you have to ginger yourself and motivate yourself so that you can achieve something. You might say we are by God's grace, we have left something, the legacy in the club, because by winning this kind of trophy, so they need to protect that legacy. Yes, sir.
From Ghanaian football, we go to global football politics. And as you know, February is the month where FIFA will be looking for a new president. One of the men who has been in the race is South Africa's Tokyo Sexuale, who believes that it is time for Africans to be heard and also for the continent to have a leader on top of the global football chain.
With the battle for the FIFA presidency heating up, the 5 candidates have stepped up their campaigns for the highest job in world football. The election of a new president takes place on the 26th of February. Standing as Africa's only candidate is South African representative Tokyo Sexuale. The businessman and former politician represents Africa's only presidential hope. He stands against Gianni Infantino, Sheikh Salman bin Ibrahim Al Khalifa, Prince Ali bin Al Hussein, and Jerome Champagne. Sexuale was on Thursday Night Live with Marawa, putting forward his thoughts and his campaign platform.
My message and strategy is the following. Come the 26th, there should be either an Asian or an African president with Europe's support. For the first time, I hope that will send a very strong signal that FIFA is really truly international, because since its formation in 1904, 411 years, the score is against Asia, against Africa. So it's not about myself. It's about the fact that one of the candidates from Africa or from Asia must, with Europe's support, they must understand, should be the next president, because all of us have got skills. We are in the game. We understand the game from right at its basics, right unto, for me, right up to the World Cup. We are there. We understand what has happened to FIFA. It needs to be rectified. Confidence must be won back. Governance must come back. The brand is damaged. We must fix FIFA. Football is fine. It's not broken. But FIFA is in dire straits, and we are here to help to clean it up.
Sexuale feels that there is work to be done to repair the tarnished image of football's governing body. He believes he has what it takes to change things and show that Africa is ready to lead.
It's a positive, it's a feel-good thing. It's a positive thing that out of 1 billion plus Africans, at least there's somebody here. I am sitting on the couch, not sitting back, but sitting to say, toe-to-toe, I'm ready to go in there. It would have sent a negative signal, a bad message, to say that the FIFA presidency is open. There are thousands of players who qualify, by the way. I think it would have sent a terrible message that in my absence, they would not even have...
Tokyo Sexuale, always an interesting man indeed. Let's do some football transfers now. In just about, couple of days, the window will close. Today, just about a couple of days, yes. And out there, we have two very interesting stories, including one involving Nigeria's Ahmed Musa and also Mbaye Niang, who is involved with AC Milan. Let's get that, and then we go onto the internet for some really interesting news.
Sky colleagues in Italy are reporting that Leicester have bid £12.2 million for AC Milan forward Mbaye Niang. Claudio Ranieri has close contacts in his native Italy. We'll bring you any updates as we get them. This also involves Leicester. Our sources have told us they're in talks with CSKA in Moscow for Nigerian striker Ahmed Musa, but there could be competition from Manchester United. There's no agreement yet on a fee, with CSKA asking for £18 million.
Yep, so those two plus this one as well. Remember this guy, he used to be a regular starter for Chelsea in England. Today, he has signed for Wadi Degla in Egypt. And this is the story. The 35-year-old who won the Champions League and the Premier League during his years at Chelsea has completed a move to Egypt. Now let's go. Former Chelsea midfielder has completed the move, and also Malouda spent 6 years at Chelsea where he won those trophies. He was also Chelsea's top scorer in the Premier League in the 2010-2011 season. Wadi Degla is in the 17-team league in Egypt, and they are 13th now in that one as well. So that's it for sport for now, but don't forget that we also have action going on in the FA Cup where Manchester United are playing. You can get more on the results of that game on myjoyonline.com/sports. I'm Gary Al Smith. See you Monday.